Hello everyone. So this video, the purpose of me making this video is actually to share with you about the setup that I did for my apartment. This is actually a quite small apartment. So the reason why I did this is definitely that I love plants, but I don't want to sacrifice the space that I have in this apartment. So this is quite a small, you have such limited space inside the apartment. So the reason why I did this is that yeah, mainly just to save space. So what I want to share about with you in this video is that how to do a setup. Well, I've seen quite a number of videos from YouTube that explains explaining about how do you do a wall garden, but it's either they did it outdoor or they have to spend so much on an indoor, such as irrigation, water irrigation, and all the fancy stuff. So yeah, so this is quite a budget type for those who wants to have plants in their home but want to have it at a cheap price or on a tight budget. So the first part that I want to share with you is that the setup. So looking at here, you can see the wood behind the plants. It is actually not a single piece of wood. This is actually a carbonized wood, and I got it cheap for like 1990 Singapore dollars from an online. I bought it from Kutan, so you can check it out. This is actually a 3-panel wood. So you can see the gap between each panel. Hang on. So that's the panel that it is actually one panel, one. So and it is the height of each panel is roughly around 150 cm, 1.5 meter, and the width of it is roughly around 30 centimeter. It's like that. So the first thing to get this is actually, and also I forgot to mention, because the reason why I did this is actually to be part of the decor or the wall. Maybe some of you like to put frames just like this. There's actually a frame here, but this is an extra large frame. And if it's just like the wood itself without the plants, it can also be used for another thing. It can have a different purpose for it. Maybe you would like to put some photos on it, right? So it is actually a dual purpose for those plant lovers. You can have this kind of setup, or you want to have a different kind of purpose, that is also fine. So I got it. So actually this is roughly $20 each for each panel. And the next thing about the setup is the lights. So these lights, this is actually a dual lights. This one is a dual light, this is a single light. So I actually use a four light setup, and the reason why I chose this color, this brightness, is actually it's not it is not hard for the eye lah. So some of you may want to use the red and blue light because it encourages growth, but I don't want to use that because it will make the house look funny, and that's not the purpose of me placing this as part of the wall decor. So, and that's about the lights. So I got the lights from AliExpress for roughly around $16 for two sets. So this light and that light is roughly $16, sorry, and the dual USB light is around the same price, so roughly around $40. So I've spent, like, for the panels and also the lights, maybe $100. Yeah, so $100 is still cheap for a wall garden. And the next thing about this setup is actually I use what do you call this, extension cable. This is a 4-way extension cable with a USB input or output. So you can have a good look at this. So I got this extension cable from a hardware store for like $30 Singapore dollars. So it is quite expensive, but it really did do the job. And this is also, if you can see, there's a extension cable going out there to the behind the curtain, which is actually directed to here, but we are not going to talk about that in this video. And also another thing about the setup, this is very important, is actually the timer. So there's actually a timer that I put on here. So this timer plays a big role. This timer plays a big role of having to save actually your time for switching and off the light, switching off and on the light. So I put on the light for roughly 16 hours per day. It starts at 7 a.m. and it ends at roughly 10 p.m. in the night. So yeah, that's basically about the setup. If you want to know more, maybe you could comment. Maybe I could improve, or maybe I did the setup wrong. Yeah. So the next one that I want to talk about is the plant. So for this kind of setup, because you are actually solely depending on the lights, so I would really recommend that you have a low light plants. You choose a low light plants, and those who doesn't require much of humidity. But if you can see that these are all the plants that requires a lot of humidity. So, and that is the main reason why I have this fish tank down here below, so that it may creates a little bit of humidity, and that is the reason why these plants can grow. So these plants that are actually quite new. It was they were bought last year. Most of them were bought roughly last year and have been growing well after much of a trial and error that I've placed. So there are dead plants on on the wall actually. So those requires highlight. I shifted them to outdoor, or I put them on the window sill so that they can have much more light. So but the best thing about this, if you can see, the varieties of plants that I've placed on the wall is actually quite a number. So I am very fond of orchids, so that is the reason why you can see a mixture of orchids and ferns. Here you can see this bulbophyllum, this is an air plant, a dendrobium here, this is an nepenthes, ferns, tigon ferns, platycerium, and this is dendrobium also at the top, and this is tolumnia, the cattleya here, and this is a surprise. This is actually bloomed under the light, and that makes me want to grow some more. So the choosing plants, and the reason why I shifted the last time I did the reason why I chose orchids and ferns is because they require less soil but requires a lot of water. So without having much soil, you have lesser thing to think about, and you don't have to actually worry about the mess. The only thing that you need to be careful of is the watering. So normally I will do a misting. So this is about the watering. Normally I'll do the misting like once a day with a sprayer, of course, with a sprayer, just to create the humidity. And for these plants, for like platycerium up here, I would normally bring it to the bathroom because it is too near to the extension cable. So basically this extension cable you can see the wire have a lot more space for them to extend. But why did I choose to place it here? Because I don't want to disturb the looks of the wall garden, or maybe the vertical or the wall setup. So for those who have concerns about watering nearer to the power point, don't worry, because I don't spray it near that. So basically it's all around here that I sprayed. And yeah, it's been quite a few years and it hasn't been short-circuited before, but this is a preventive measure as well, so that is why I don't want to risk. If you can put it slightly higher, you may put it slightly higher, because I want it to have it lower. So that is the reason why I don't do much watering on the wall garden here. And the challenge about having this kind of setup is actually, if you can see, it is the behind of this panels are actually bare. So it is basically the panels, and out behind the panels are your wall. It's the wall itself. So maybe if this is the wall was coated with a waterproof paint, so it might not seen the effect yet, or maybe it's not too humid enough to grow some algae on it. But yeah, if you want some protective measure, you may install an additional plastic cover and then put on a cloth, so that it won't damage your wall. And another challenge that I'm facing for this setup is sometimes the drips of water that actually fell off, drip off from the plants that I've sprayed, like this for example. So I just misted them just now, and sometimes it falls onto the floor, and that is where your floor will get full of water. So but yeah, so what I did was I'll just wipe it off with a towel. This is basically the setup that I did for this wall. Yeah, so if you want me to talk about all the segments of my wall that I've did, maybe you could request some. I'll try to make some time to make this video, to make some of the explanation for that segment as well. And I was thinking of doing another wall like this at this space, because this is empty. So do let me know, what do you think if I were to do something, because I need to think of the PowerPoint as well, and it'll be slightly difficult because this is nearer to the PowerPoint, and this is quite further from the PowerPoint, so I need to run the cables towards the nearest PowerPoint. So yeah, do let me know if this is possible, and thank you for watching this video until the end. See you next video.